Damn, this bike's starting to look good.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the garage. I'm your boy Dave with the big dome piece. Today, we're going to jump right into the bike build. We're going to get the oil tank, oil lines. We're going to get the mid controls, kickstand, license plate bracket, all that stuff that we picked up from TC Bros. So let's get right into it. Let's go. All right, so we're going to start plumbing these lines up. I have some pipe dope, and I already pre-made these fittings to go on here. I actually had to drill these out because they were super tight inside. I didn't think that the oil was going to flow too well. Actually, that's how tight they were. So I drilled them out a tiny bit bigger. So we're going to need a straight piece coming down from the feed. So this is how the oil tank's going to sit in the bike. Straight piece down from the feed. We're going to put this 90 is going to go on top. This 90 is going to go on top. And then we have the 3 bolts. So these fittings are an 1/8. This one's 1/8 by 1/4. It's an 1/8 NPT by 1/4-inch barb. And these are same thing, except for this is a 3/8 barb. I also found some chrome caps, hose caps. Like, they are hose clamps inside, but they got a built-in cap. They were in chrome. I sprayed them up glossy black. I got to get some wrenches for this. I already flushed the tank from sandblasting and got all the whatever was in there of sand. Everything's out. It's clean. I actually poured a whole bottle of alcohol through it, drained it, and it's all dry now. It's an oil line fitting, not a steam fitting, so I'm not going to go crazy tightening it. It's the return back from the pump. I bought a whole roll of 3/8 oil lines so I can run new supply and return back from the oil pump into this tank. It'll have all new lines on it. The vent line, I'm going to keep the original vent line. There was nothing wrong with it. This is the oil cap. That's that. And then these will go on the line, and we'll tighten her up. All right, so let's get all this stuff together and we'll get over to the bike and get this tank mounted in. Loctite as always. I hope once this is in, I never have to take it out again. Because this is a pain in the butt. I think the problem was I put washers on the motor mount in the back. And it's literally that 1/8 of an inch that I need to spin the tank a little bit. That wasn't fun. Half an hour of fighting with this damn thing. I think what I did was the motor mount bolts. I put washers on. I shouldn't have put washers on them. But it's on and that's it. Let's get these oil lines situated. All right, guys. So I went back in, pulled the oil tank out, pulled out the big giant washers I had sitting right here. And then that gave me plenty of room to get the oil tank in. Literally, I put the oil tank in 10 minutes after that. So we're going to move on to the oil lines. I want to replace both these oil lines, and then we have the vent line I'm going to put into the top over there. All right, let's do it. All right, so we're going to replace this oil line right here, which is this short one. I had stuck this short piece on because it was leaking all over the place in the garage. We have some new oil line we're going to pop on there. Trying to give myself enough so I can zip tie it to the frame. That way it doesn't hit the chain. So we'll cut it right around there. I'm going to turn it that way and go from the other side of the bike with a long screwdriver. See if we can go from the other side of the bike and tighten it. Heck yeah. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. So that line is done. Ooh, look at that. That's perfect. Throw a little zip tie on it. Boom, boom. Bada boom, bada bing. Now this line is just a vent line. This one also. I don't know if you can see it. That's the vent line for the primary. This is the vent line for the crankcase. Figure out how to route that nicely too. Because right now that line's going that way. What I'm going to do with the crankcase one, I mean not the crankcase one, the primary one, I'm going to put a little filter. I don't know if I'm going to come out on an angle and just stub a nice little cool filter sitting up here. All right, oil tank, oil lines, check. I say we start putting stuff together on this side, like the foot controls. Get that cover back on, the pulley cover. I gotta find some screws for here because I have the cover for that. The locking mechanism. So let me get that all together and I'll get back to you. Mr. B wants to say hi. What's up, buddy? What's up, big boy? Much love for the Mr. B. Broody. This is my German Shepherd, Bruno. He's a good boy. Back on the chopper. I think today we're going to put those foot controls on, maybe the kickstand. Let's get to it. All right, so we got everything laid out, ready to go here. And we're going to start by putting this bolt through. I'm going to throw this master cylinder on now to keep that lined up. All right, so we are back. Gonna get this kickstand installed. I didn't physically lose my microphone, but it wasn't working. And all the talking I did through the video is lost. But I'm not going back and taking all this stuff off just so you can hear my voice. So we're gonna move on. So I got the position screw back in. We'll be able to adjust where the kickstand actually ends. We gotta put the spring and then this little ball goes in here and you can lose it, so you got to be careful. So it should sit right in there, right on top of the spring. And then you got to be careful with it and somehow, without crushing your fingers, get it in like that. Put a little Loctite on the bottom of this and you push. I'll tell you, nothing has gone easy on this assembly so far. Everything is killing me. Oh, look at that, we got it. All right. How about we get that license plate bracket on and then we'll call it a night. So we're going to prep this thing on the bench first with all the shrink wrap. Put an eye loop on so we can ground it around here like that. And then we'll shrink that up too. I'm going to throw a quick zip tie to hold it there so when it cools down, it'll keep the shape. So what I'll do, I'll grind down the paint here. And then I'll do the same thing on the casing on the engine. So this will ground out nice. And then I don't have to run another ground. That'll be perfect. And with this license plate bracket, you reuse the factory bolts that are on your primary already. It's going to go in just like that. I need to grind down a couple spots. I don't know how the heck I'm going to... Well, that looks like it might be bare metal in there. I mean, we're going to have to figure out a way to get this wire down from up here. maybe we'll come out up out of this hole, go behind the seat, follow it down on this side of the bike so you can't see it, but or we can follow the oil line. I don't know. Worry about that when it's time to wire. But other than that, it's pretty clean install on that. I tell you, they make really nice stuff. TC Bros. All this was from them. Kickstand, bracket for the license plate, mid controls, all from TC Bros. Good quality stuff. All right, so before we end this video, I'm going to do a little wiring trick that hopefully will help somebody else out. Let's get into it. So what we're going to end up doing is plug as many holes as you possibly can, other than the ones where you're running your wires through. We're going to plug up that hole back there. We're going to plug up these holes. So we're going to do, we want to run the wiring through the neck, and we want to pop out in the center of the backbone. So you're going to want to plug up these so no air can get through them. There's one on each side, so I'll go to the other side and do that one. Because the next episode, I would like to start doing the whole front end. So I need that wire ran in the neck to put the front end together. So these holes are plugged off here, and that tubing ends right here. So the only holes we have is the mid of the backbone here where the motor mount is, and then in the neck. Gonna get some string, grab a pair of scissors. Gotta get the air hose. Should have had this stuff already set up. All right, so you got the air hose, air gun, give yourself a few feet of string. So what you're going to want to do is get that out of there. Going to want to start feeding the string through the hole. Get your air hose and let the string fall out. So you want to get the string in front of your air hose line. And it's that easy. Get a lightweight string, put the air hose in. So what we want to do is we want to go through the neck, and it pulls out right there. So now what we'll do is we'll hook our wire to the end of this, which I could do right now, and then we'll start pulling through. So we're going to attempt to go this way with it. I just don't know if it's going to make this turn. We will see. So I ran a ground from the headlight one because the ground for the headlight, I didn't want to ground it to the front forks because you have bearing grease and all the other stuff on there. So I ran a ground for the headlight. One of them is going to be for the tail light coming back for the brake light, and then we have power going up. So we're going to use power for the headlight and for the brake light coming back with the brake light switch in orange. I left that longer. I'll feed another wire through here. We'll bring that down. We have to bring another red down too for running lights. So now with the wiring all situated in the neck, we can start doing the front end. All I gotta do is get the wires out this hole, and that shouldn't be a big deal. And then we will run it. So I got the black wire through, and another little tip, take a soda bottle, cut a piece of plastic out of it. So what you're doing is you're just cutting a flat, like a flat piece out of the bottle, cut it open, and then you're going to want to take a piece of this bottle and lay it inside the neck. And what that does is it protects the wires from chafing on the shaft of the triple clamps when they come through. I mean, it's still a little bit too big, but kind of want to do whatever the circumference of that is. It'll open back up when it goes inside. You want to go right above the wiring. And what it does is it opens up and it pushes the wiring out of the way. So now when the neck goes through, I don't know, what do you call that? The neck axle or the neck stem, triple tree clamp setup goes through here. The plastic opens up and it keeps the wires out of the way, pushed against the neck right here. So there's no way they're going to get chafed on anything. Actually, we'll get this up a little bit further. That's how the plastic holds the wire in place inside. And there's still plenty of room to put the front end together. If you already knew that trick or those tips, awesome. Anybody else, feel free to use them because it's super helpful when you're running wires in the motorcycle like that. So that's going to be a wrap for this one. We got the oil tank done, oil lines are done, mid controls are on, license plate brackets on, kickstand is done. In the next episode, we're going to run and get the front end on, handlebars, front tire, get the headlight on. We're going to try to get as much of the front of the bike done as possible. So if you're enjoying this content, please like it, please subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.